What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Elden Ring concept crafting video. This time it is the Leech Lord in a level 150 NG plus 5. So this is pretty much what you would be doing, and this is how you would fight most of the time. Anyways, let's get into this. Alright, stats first. The vigor is at 60. This is NG plus 5. Enemies hit hard here. Mind is at 20. You can play around with that, make it a bit less, a bit more. It's up to you and your preference. Endurance, you can also add a bit more if you want to maybe wear something, some armor, an armor set that's a bit heavier than what I'm wearing, but it doesn't fit this build. What the Leech Lord is all about is inflicting status effects on the enemy and leeching life back. Alright, so you can do whatever you want with the endurance, but you're not supposed to be really taking that much damage anyway. Strength is by default. Dexterity is at 80, as this is how our weapons scale, is with dexterity, so keep that in mind. If you change the affinity on these weapons, the scaling can go up to a B instead of the C that we currently have. Intelligence is by default. Faith can go down to 25 if you're doing a fresh start playthrough. I would have Faith probably at 25 and Vigor between 40 and 50, giving you a lot of points to play around with, just to have more endurance, more mind, and whatever else you might want to go for. So Faith right now is at 30 because it's NG plus 5, so we need Black Flame's protection, and Arcane is at 9. You can put that at 10 if you want, and I'll explain why pretty soon. Now to the items. We are dual wielding two twin blades, as you can see. One of them is a cold one and the other one is a bloody one. And why I have them cold and bloody is because it grants them passive effects, as you can see at the very bottom. Causes frost buildup 127, causes blood loss buildup 101. However, from my personal experience against the giant troll here and the snowy mountain tops, it seems like even though this is 101 and this is higher, I seem to be inflicting blood loss a lot easier. So I'm not sure if the troll's immunities and resistances are just higher towards cold and frost buildup, or what's going on exactly, but I will have to test that against multiple different enemies and see how the results turn out. If you change the affinity on these weapons here to keen, you will get your attribute scaling of dexterity from a C all the way up to a B on both of them, but I would not suggest doing that unless you are fighting enemies that are immune to blood loss and frost buildup. Otherwise, keep this setup. I believe this is much better. This one you can switch it out, but I just don't see anything else better around here. And this one gives boosts to bestial vitality because it boosts bestial incantations, and we're using one of those as incantations. That's about it, but you can do whatever you want with that. We're not casting any other spells other than like buffs, or that's it pretty much. Anyways, here I kept it light. I altered this for the very first time ever in my life for me to alter an item. I altered it, but I don't know, I think I liked it more with the cloak, so I might redo that. And I just want to keep things light, and I like the way they are. It makes me feel like I'm a rogue and some kind of like madman or something, the mad rogue or something, I don't know. But anyways, how the build really matters, or what the most important thing about this build is pretty much the talismans. Alright, so as you can see now, this is just even like this if you'd like. Now, he's called the Leech Lord for a reason, because mainly in the open world you will be leeching back lots of health, because you can sneak up on enemies just so much easier. You can use darkness on them, which you can't use on bosses, making you truly a Leech Lord. That with Assassin's Approach, you can sneak up on so many enemies and get your health back. So Assassin's Crimson Dagger talisman right here with Taker's camo are very good in the open world. Of course, Taker's right here I would not use against bosses. This one, I don't know. I mean, it depends on how fast you think you're going to be able to stagger the boss and break their stance and all that. Otherwise, I would not use this in a boss fight. However, this will stay in boss fights because it will heal you pretty good. And as long as you stay at full health, you'll have this active as well. Now you can switch this out if you don't think you'll be at full health most of the time with, let's say, something I do not have currently, which is Millicent's Prosthesis Talisman, which pretty much has the same effect as this, just not as strong as this. So this is the most powerful one right here. And what else can you go for? Of course, this one, Lord of Blood Exaltation. That is very good. Increases your damage whenever you do blood loss. And guess what? We have Seppuku here. So we inflict blood loss on ourselves, pretty much. We can get this boost right here. Drink a flask, and you'll have both of them pretty much right at the beginning. Or go in, do like 2-3 jump attacks with these babies right here, and with this one right here, you'll be back at full health if you don't get hit at all. So you don't even have to drink a flask, and you'll have this activated. However, you can switch this out as well with something, let's say, like the Claw Talisman, since you'll be doing a lot of jump attacks with this build. It is such a nice and fun way to do it, and I really enjoy it so much. Anyways, here you already know what to do. The same thing. If you want to go for the damage, you go for the Thorny Crack tier, or you can go for the Crimson Whirl Bubble tier. And this is pretty good when you're taking a lot of like minimal damage, small damage, chip damage. It will heal you instead. But when it's against like bosses that hit hard, and like are really slow with their attacks and all that, it's not as good. I would switch it out with, let's see. I would switch it out, sorry. We do need to discuss the spells as well. With the Crimson Bubble tier here, I mean, it would make sense to have even both of these together like this. This way, you stay alive. It's all about being the Leech Lord. Don't forget that. So you want to attack fast, and you want to do it consistently. Otherwise, if you prefer having a bit of damage boost, and maybe you're going against a big boss that is slow and all that, then this one, the Crimson Whirl Bubble tier, wouldn't be as useful. I would go for this, for example. It all depends on who I'm fighting and all that. Now for the spells, of course, you're gonna buff yourself with all these three right here. Very important. Now, if you're going for keen affinity on your weapons, you can apply buffs. What I would do is I would use Spike's Dragon Bolt first. If I am fighting an enemy that does not use any lightning attacks, alright, I would use this, and then I would use this. That way I still can carry more items or heavier items while having the ability to poison my enemy. But if you're doing it like the way I'm doing it, then these are pointless because they will not allow you to enchant your weapon when you have the cold and blood affinity, as it is seen as they see it as if your weapons are already enchanted, and one of them, the cold one, already does magic damage. So it is, and they have passive effects now. One of them does bloodlust without you even buffing or using your Ash of War. So like your weapons are just set the way they are. Assassin's Approach and Darkness are very amazing in the open world, will allow you to get so many attacks in. Anyways guys, that's about everything I want to say for this guy. So we're gonna BRB now in a few minutes, and we're gonna get into some battles. If you have any questions, say so in the comments, but for now, BRB. And I'm back guys, so let's see how this Leech Lord holds up. Another thing I would like to add about this build is the fact that one of the most things that I like about it is how much it takes advantage of the Darkness Incantation. An incantation that I barely see anyone ever use. I'm guessing because that, well, it can't be used against bosses. However, in the open world, against every single enemy that I've tried it on, it has worked. And it was a lifesaver, because look, you have the flying creatures. I didn't even cast it directly at him. I cast it somewhere and he flew into it, and still, it made my life so much easier. It has no idea what's going on. It will just stand still in its place, making it a sitting duck rather than a flying threat. So as you can see, bam, it is out. Has no chance whatsoever. Another thing that I like about this spell or this incantation, you're going to see that in a few minutes, is that because this build, the Leech Lord, lacks any, way of dealing with multiple enemies, darkness becomes essential in this build because of that. Because when you are surrounded by those enemies, all you have to do is cast it once and then watch them all get lost and have no idea what's going on. And another thing which you're going to see very soon is the fact that because this is the Leech Lord, when you use darkness on most of these creatures, you can sneak up behind them, do your critical hit like I'm about to do right here, and that, if you have the right talisman, will heal your life, and you can keep just spamming it. And you already saw all the talismans, guys. Like, everything you do almost heals you, killing them, critically hitting them, just getting lots of hits on them. It is so much fun. And as you can see here, guys, you just cast it on one guy. Anybody who walks into this cloud is going to be lost, and is pretty much just going to be an open target for you to practice on and to reach your life back. Now, I know I call him the Leech Lord, but I'm mainly using like things that leech life back, nothing for mana. However, you can use those talismans if you'd like and leech mana back. However, to me, at this point, at this stage in the game, I believe I am an NG plus 5, or could it be 6 here? I think it is 6. I will check and let you guys know, because I have so many playthroughs of this game, so many different characters. It is easy for me to get confused and not know which character I'm playing with currently, because like I try to make build guides with most of them, but I am eventually going to only have this guy because he's going to have all the spells and all the incantations and everything else that's out there, and then I have no need to use multiple characters. So I'm not sure if I made this character before or after the Rotten Radical playthrough, which was an NG plus 6 playthrough, and prior to that was NG plus 5. So it's one of them, and regardless of which one it is, I will mention it, of course, in the title and in the description. But regardless, it is performing amazingly well. It is a dexterity build, like I said, that uses, afflictions and pretty much leeches life back while doing so. And now we're taking on some bosses. This is like a mini boss. It's probably the weakest one, and this is like an early game for now. So right after this guy, we're gonna take on 2 tougher bosses. One of them is end game, one of them is mid game, but is much tougher than the end game one, which is the Knights Cavalry right here. Deals, for the armor I'm wearing, I'm taking a decent amount of damage. I would think that I would be getting one shot most of the time at this stage with the armor that I'm wearing, because they do really hit hard. But you can see you are also hitting them pretty hard with bleed and frostbite. Most enemies, unless they're immune to it, won't be able to do much, and even then you should be able to at least leech some health back. But most enemies, generally speaking, do bleed, do get frost buildup, so they're not immune to those, so you usually do not have to worry. And this is the last boss here, guys. Even though it's not endgame, this guy is much tougher than the Knights Cavalry. Everybody knows that. And he's considered one of the toughest bosses in the game, like not end game, but like from the mid game bosses, that's for sure. And even though he hits me pretty hard, I do not know the fight very well, so this is the reason that I'm not performing as good as I would like. If this was one of the other main bosses, I would have probably performed much better. However, if you guys vote for this guy, then I will fight all the main bosses with them, and we'll see how it turns out. But I'm starting to love these affliction builds, whether they're strength builds, whether they're dex builds. I'm gonna probably experiment with them a lot more and tell you guys how they turn out. Anyways, this is nearly the end of the whole video, so I hope you enjoyed watching the Leech Lord, and hopefully you would like the next concept crafting video I come up with. Anyways, and as always, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're all having a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.